So welcome everybody to this latest video on 162 Maths, and in this video we'll be continuing with averages with a focus on finding the median from group data. Now you'll only really get asked to work out the median from group data if you're working at a high level, although you may get asked to find what group the median lies within at a lower level. Now it's important you establish there is a difference between these two questions. So the estimated median will be expecting an actual number, albeit a decimal number. However, the group will always be a group within the data. So let's say, for example, 10 to 20 or 140 to 160, etc. Now with group data, any average you calculate, excluding the modal class or the most popular group or the modal group, will always be an estimate. And this is because you don't know the exact values and assume values within the class are the midpoint. So don't be confused as the difference between working out the estimated mean or the estimated median to working out the mean or median from group data. They're both the same thing, but generally when you're working with group data, it should always be classed as an estimate average. Now with averages, it's always important you use common sense and learn to check the validity of your answer. So in other words, that the mean, the median, the mode will always lie within the smallest value and the largest value. So if you've got data between 0 and let's say 100, then all three of your averages should be a number between 0 and 100. It will never be a negative number, it won't be anything bigger than your largest value. So always check your validity of your answers, because it's very easy to make a mistake, particularly when you're using your calculator and you're not remembering BIDMAS and you're not pressing equals at the right point. It's very easy to make a mistake, even though your logic and your methodology may seem correct. Now before we get started, let's just go over some of the basics. So again, remembering that the median is the middle value when your data is in numerical order. Now the numerical order shouldn't really be a problem because your data is going to be grouped. Generally speaking, you have your smallest value at the top of your group, of your table, and you'll always end up with the largest value and the bottom row on the right. Now in terms of your plan of action, these are the three main steps that we're going to cover. So it's definitely, if you're making notes or revision notes, it's definitely worth making a note of these three things. So your plan of action when finding the median from group data is 1, find the position of the median. Now the position of the median is different to the actual median. A lot of students get these two things confused, so make sure that you're not writing the position as a median and vice versa. Also, the second step is to find out which class or group it falls within, and this kind of links in with cumulative frequency, but again, you don't really need to know that topic, but again, I will go through it. And the final step is to find the estimated median value within this group, and again, that involves using a bit of a formula, which I will go through. Now, this last thing, it's really important that because the median and find the median from group data is a high level topic, it will usually involve quite a lot of marks because you will be doing quite a lot of maths involved in there. So it's really important that within your working out you do show these three steps. So even if you don't get to step 3 or you make a silly mistake within a certain step, you need to make sure you're guaranteed getting those method marks, and the method usually for finding these things are these 3 steps. So make sure that within your working out, within your solutions, you are showing evidence that you are working through these 3 steps. Now the best way to understand all of this is to go through some common examples. Now these examples are very common. The structure will be virtually the same. The data in the tables will be different, but generally speaking the concept will be the same. Now the first 2 steps are relatively quite simple, but they will probably carry the less marks. Where it goes into high level is that 3rd step, which is the difference between lower and let's say higher or foundation level. So this is basically as far as foundation would go. So the first thing you want to do is find the total frequency. Now sometimes the total frequency will be given to you in the information in the question. So for example, it may say that 75 people were weighed and these are their results. So you don't need to add up the total frequency column. It tells you that there's 75 people, so the total frequency will be 75. So don't do any unnecessary work. You can simply do it by reading the question carefully. Now in this question we don't know the total, so that's the first thing I need to do. So I need to work out what the total frequency is, and that's done by simply adding up all of these numbers. So doing 2 plus 15 plus 19 plus 10 plus 1 gives me an answer of 47. Now if you remember the knowledge of median values, that if you've got an odd number you're going to end up with one number as the median. So what I need to do is find the middle number. So I do this by doing the total frequency, which is 47, divided by 2, and that's going to give me divided by 2 equals 23.5, and because that's a decimal I'm looking for the 24th number. Now the next thing I then need to do is find out where does the 24th person lie or thing lie. Now I don't need to worry about the order because the data has already been ordered for me. So I know that between 40 and 50 there are 2 people, between 50 and 60 there are another 15 people, between 60 and 70 there's 19, etc, etc. Now for this, what I need to do is work out the cumulative frequency. I'm just doing a running total and I'm going to stop when I go over that 24th number. So here I've got 2, I've got 17, and I'm going to end up with 36. So I know that 24 is in this group here. So this is the group where the median lies. So if I was asked the question of what group where would the median lie, then the answer would be 60 to 70, and that will be done. Now this is where it gets a little bit tricky. So for this, I can just write the answer as 60 and 70, like so. Now to find out where it is, now imagine that you've got all these people in these 47 people in a line. Okay, I've got 2 people that are between 40 and 50. There's 2 people. Between 50 and 60, I've got another 15 people. 60 to 70, I've got another 19 people. And then 80, 90, I've got 10 and 1 respectively. Now, from this point here, I've got there are 17 people in that direction. And I need to find the 24th number. So I need to find the 7th person in this group. That's what I want. I want to find the 7th person in that group. So what I then need to do for step 3 is, and again, let me just emphasize, I need the 7th person in this group. So 36 take away 24 equals 17. So 24 minus 17 equals 7. So that's the 7th. I need the 7th person. So for this, what I then need to do is use this formula. I need to do the class width divided by the frequency of that group. I'm just going to put that in brackets. I multiply that by the person I need within the group, or the position of person or thing in group. Thing there. And then add that to the lower bound of the group. Now this seems really fun, like really big faff, but trust me, it's not that bad, and it's not that much that you then need to remember. So again, I need to find the 7th person of those 19 people within that group. So substituting numbers into this formula, I've got the class width of the class width of 10 divided by 19. I'm going to multiply that by 7 because I want the 7th person in that group. And I'm going to add that to the lower bound, which in this case is 60. So entering that formula into my calculator, 10 divided by 19 multiplied by 7 plus 60. Plus 16. I don't know why I've done that. We'll do that again. So 10 divided by 19 multiplied by 7 plus 60. And that gives me an answer of 63.6842 blah blah blah. So here my answer would be 63 kilograms to no decimal places. And there is my final answer. It'll actually be 64, so it's correct. Always check your rounding. Very easily done. And there would be my final answer. Now if you wanted to leave it as 63.7, then that would be fine, just to 1 decimal place. Just make sure you're stating, and don't forget the units as well. But that there would be your estimated median from this set of data. Again, using common sense, is your answer between 60 and 70? Yes. So jobs are good in. So let's have a look at our next example. So again, first thing we want to do is work out the total frequency. And so in this case, we add these numbers up. So 19 plus 23 plus 23 plus 7 plus 3 is 75. So first thing we want to do is we do 75 divided by 2. We want to find the median, which is 37.5. And we round that up, so we want to find the 38th person. So from this, what we then need to do is do our running total. So community frequency, so I've got 19, and then 19 plus 23 is 42. So I know that my median person lies within this group here. So my median group is the 5 to 10. So from this, what I then need to do is find out, I need the 38th person and within this group. So I know it's going to be the top end. So I'm looking at a value using common sense. I know it's going to be closer to 10 than it is 5, because again, looking at the 38th person and there's 42 people within that group, it's going to be at the top end of that group. So what I need to do here is I need to do 38 minus 19. So I'm taking the community frequency of the previous total, find out what position I need. The 38 take away 19 is 19. So I need the 19th person in this group, in that group there. So using the formula then, so I do the class width, which in this case is 5, divided by 23, which is the frequency, and I'm going to multiply that by 19, and then I'm going to add that to the lower bound, which is 5, and that is the formula that I'm then going to use. So here I've got 5 divided by 23, which is 0.217, multiply that answer by 19, which gives me 4.13, and I'm going to add that to 5, and that gives me an answer of 9.130434783. So again, so looking at my estimated median value is going to be, I'd say 9.1 to 1 decimal place, and that's in minutes. So 9.1 minutes, and that's to 1 decimal place. If you want to round up to 9 minutes, that's fine. Just make sure that you are stated that you've rounded up to 0 decimal places. So let's have a look at a really nasty question. So this is going to involve a lot of big numbers, as you can see. So from our groups, we've got 240, 310. Now we've got a big table. So again, first thing I want to do is work out the total frequency. So again, adding all of these numbers up. So 3 plus 18 plus 24 plus 56 plus 72 plus 27 plus 10 gives me an answer of 210. So this is giving me an even number. So I'm going to be ended up with 2 values that's going to be between. So looking at step 1, I do 210 divided by 2, which is 105. Now I know that my median value is going to be between the 105th number and the 106th number. Now, because the position and we've got 210, I'll be honest, there really isn't going to be much difference between finding these two numbers. Now, typically you could work out the 105th number, work out the 106th number, add them together, divided by 2, but to be fair, there won't be much difference between the two. Because it's estimated values, you really can just pick which one of the two you want to go for. Personally, I'm going to go for the 106th one. So that's the position we're going to do. Now, if you wanted 105, that's fine, but we are estimating, we don't need to be accurate. And again, I'll go through to find out what the 105th number was to show, to see if there is much difference. And if there isn't much difference, then you only need to do 1. So looking at this then, we've got 105, 106. So we now need to find out where would our 105th and 6th person lie within. So I'm going to do my community frequency value. I've got 3 in the first group, plus 18 gives me 21, plus 24 gives me 45, plus 56, which gives me 101, plus 72, which gives me 173. Now, because I'm looking for the 105th, 106th number, that means that my median is going to lie in this group here. And because 101, 105th is quite close, it means that my answer is going to be roughly around about the 280 mark, rather than it being to the 290. So that there is my median group. So step 2, so the median lies within 280 and 290. So that's my median group. There we go. So now what I need to do is try and find the exact value. So here what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 105. So to find the 105th number, I'll actually go for 106. I said that was the one I was going to do. So the 106th number is going to be 101, 106 rather. Take away 105, which equals 101, sorry, these are my own numbers, not helpful on a tutorial. So I'm looking for the fifth number in that group, so the fifth number in this. And for the other one, it will be the fourth number. So for 105, that will be the fourth number in this group. And there we go. But we're going to find the 106th number. So then what I'm going to do is going to use the formula then. So it's going to be the class width, which is 10, divided by the frequency, which is 72. I'm going to multiply that by 5, and I'm then going to add that to 280. So I've got 10 divided by 72, which is going to be a really small number, multiply that by 5, then add that to 280, and that gives me an answer of 280.6944444. So in other words, I'm going to say it's 281. Now that's the 106th number. Now if I was to find the 105th number, which again is not needed because I'm going to assume that this is my final answer here, we do exactly the same. So we're going to do 10 divided by 72, but this time we're going to multiply it by 4 and then add it to 280. Now I would personally press equals after every little thing that you do. So 10 divided by 72, press equals, times 4, press equals, plus 280, press equals. And that gives me an answer of 280.555 recurring. Now you can see that there really isn't much difference. So if I round up to one decimal place, I'm going to get the same answer. So it doesn't really matter if I add the two numbers together, divide it by 2, I'm still going to get 281. So here my estimated median is 281 and it's seconds to no decimal places. And there is my final answer. So then if you are dealing with big numbers and you're looking for a big position, then especially if you've got an even set of number, like an even total frequency, just go for the upper one that's between. So just round your answer up as you would do if it's an odd number of total frequency, and just work from there. The mark scheme will allow some discrepancy and give you a boundary of accepting any answer between 280 and 282, let's say. So there will be discrepancies to still get you full marks. But again, as long as you're showing your full working out, then that should be absolutely fine. So what I'm going to do now is give you a chance to pause the video and have a go at working out the estimated median for these two sets of data. So if you want to pause the video, and then I'll reveal the answers in due course. So here are your answers to those two questions. Now again, let me just go through in terms of these. Now because we've got an even total frequency, the median position is between two numbers. Now as I said, if your numbers are big in terms of you've got big frequency, you tend to find that the actual answers of these two positions will give you very, very similar results. Now if that is the case, then in the mark scheme they will allow either of those two answers, or if you don't want to be really mathematical, find the midpoint between the middle value between those two numbers, and that should be absolutely fine. So in the first question that you got to work on with the first one with regards to weight, that your median position is the 70th or the 71st number position. Now what you then need to do is decide which of these two numbers you're going to find, or if you want to find both of them, that's absolutely fine. So then you do the class width, which in this case, or the class where the median lies is in this group of 6 to 9. Then you would do the class width, which is 3, divided by the total frequency, which is 78, multiplied by the position within that group that you're wanting. Now how you find this pink and lilac number is by looking at the previous community frequency, which is 53, and this is where I use these, and this is where the 17 and 18 have come from. So I've done 70 because I want the 70th number, take away the community frequency of the last group, which is 53, gives me the 17th person. If I wanted the 71st person, I do 71, take away 53, and I want the 18th person within that group. Then I substitute in the formula, and you can see that two answers are very, very similar. Now if I round them up to one decimal place, then both answers are going to give me 0.67, so that there is my final answer. Now when it comes to the second example, so again do the total frequency, get 32, which is not that nice. Now because we've got a small frequency, that you might find there is a difference between the positions. So my median is between the 16th and the 17th person. So what I've then done is gone and then to find where the 16th and 17th person lie. So again I need the 9th and the 10th person within this group here. And so working that out, I get the answers of, for the 16th person, that's 170 exact. For the 17th person, I get 171.1 recurring. Now, again, you can see the numbers are very, very close. Now, again, in the answer, they would accept either 170 or 171.1 recurring, but generally looking at 171. If you want to be really precise, then you add those two numbers up, divide it by 2, and I get the final answer as being 170.6 to 1 decimal place. I think the actual answer is 170.5 recurring, but there you go. But again, if you gave your answers 170 or 171, you would still most likely get 4 marks.